fill your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand. Fear's not allowed where dreams can be lost or found.
Any use anymore? I'm off.
Hello and welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Traci Crampton and I'm an energy practitioner.
And I'm Rosemary Lachance. I'm a Reiki energy healer and a spiritual advisor.
And we are dedicated to providing you with food for thought information and answers to all modalities of alternative healing, spiritual development, animal welfare, and environmental concerns in the form of guest speakers who are experts in their fields. We hope we can help you find the answers you are looking for. We encourage you to embrace the show with an open mind and continue to ask questions that will lead you to better health and greater understanding in your own life. We will give you our contact information at the end of the show if you would like to know more about tonight's show or any of our past shows. And enjoy the show tonight. Number 85.
Yes, show number 85. And it's called Designing and Decorating for Health and Wellness. And with us tonight is Richard Morse, owner of Richard Morse Designs. Welcome.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi.
How are you? Hi, Traci.
Richard.
How are
Thanks
you?
for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Richard. Known locally for his amazing home renovations and rehabs, Richard Morse has earned his reputation for style and design through his creative vision and unrelenting focus to detail. His career spans more than 2 decades, hundreds of property flips, new home construction, antique home restoration, and dozens upon dozens of beautifully designed home rooms. Being connected to the design world is one thing, but Richard lives it day in and day out. He's always considered himself an artist, and interior design came easy and it came early. Richard purchased his first piece of real estate at age 21 and has never looked back. His design philosophy is simple: maintain the original design sense of a home while updating with modern materials and floor plans for today's demanding lifestyles. Always with an eye on reusing materials or repurposing furniture, staying green is a priority. Richard appreciates the history of design, not to mention the quality workmanship and gorgeous wood patinas of aged furniture. Tying everything together is a trick, and Richard uses his keen sense of style to blend antiques, traditional, and modern furniture with contemporary art into rooms and residences into which we all want to live. Available as an interior decorator, including original paintings, photography, and furniture, a real estate developer, Richard, real estate agent, and a home stager. Wow, that's a lot.
I do it all.
I guess so.
I do it all, baby.
Every aspect.
I know. So,
No stone left unturned.
yeah. So you purchased your first. How did it come about? What was your?
I've just
21. You were young.
Yeah,
So.
I was very, very young. I was always interested in real estate, always loving homes, architecture, design, decorating, and I suppose I was just always a little too ambitious, a little overly ambitious, and I bought my first home at age 21.
Wow.
In West Haven, down on the West Shore, right near the beach.
Nice.
And
Wow.
rehabbed it, renovated it from top to bottom, and then resold it, and made pretty good money on that. And that was it. I was hooked. That was it.
Wow. So you like creating, like
Transforming.
transforming,
Yeah,
creating.
transformation.
Yes, I've always I love design. I love art. I love making things beautiful, making things pretty. Starting with something that doesn't look so good and seeing what I can do with it.
Really, what could you do with me?
We need to be
I would like that.
You're fine, just the way you are, Rosemary.
Aw, I love you too.
Yes.
So where do you get your inspiration for design or art or furniture that you build?
Inspiration can come from anywhere and everywhere. You see things in nature that will inspire you.
Nature.
You see other people's work that will inspire you. Sometimes it's the negative aspects of someone's work will inspire you.
Really? Explain that. What does that mean?
Well, you see something that someone else did. A builder, for instance, may build a home, and you'll be driving by, and you'll just be like, "Oh my goodness, what were they thinking?" And that would inspire you to. I don't know, maybe I've always said I have like this little, I have an illness, okay? I have an illness. I can't help but redesign spaces. I can't help but redesign
You're like,
homes.
oh, those people need my help.
It's horrible. It's yeah. I can't even go into my friend's house, okay? Someone's home, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, that wall should come out. There should be a skylight in here. That kitchen would be so much better if the sink was over here and the refrigerator were over there, and if this area was open. And I can't stop myself from doing it. I do it everywhere I go.
Wow, that's amazing. What sign are you?
I'm Capricorn.
Capricorn. Okay.
That's his drive that he's
Yes.
talking about.
Right. It's
You've got that
absolutely.
drive.
It's the Capricorn drive. It drives me to achieve, the businesses that I own, the businesses that I run. It's constant. It's absolute Capricorn.
And you love your
the
work.
end.
I mean,
I
you
do.
love what you do. How many people
Live
can
it.
say that?
Live
Yes.
it, love it. Absolutely. I'm very, very fortunate.
So when did you first feel the need to go green?
Well, I think that's something that I've always felt. Long before it. Let's face it, being green.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's a buzzword.
It's a popular thing to do.
It is. It's popular. I think people are
And that's
being
a good
green.
thing, I guess, but
and
trendy.
It's trendy, right? It's trendy. So people are jumping on the trendy train. Okay, and they want to go green. And yes, it's a great thing, and we all should. If every person did just a little bit,
Yeah, to help the
it would
environment.
help
yeah.
out everything. So, to me, I also like the aspect you can masquerade as a green person when in fact you're really just cheap, okay? Because you can get old furniture, old anything, old whatever, and you can make it new again if you have a
Right.
good eye, if you are creative, if you don't mind getting a little dirty and having a little elbow work, putting a little elbow grease in, you can create something truly, truly beautiful and unique.
I would think that that's a better way to go, because you're like recycling things and taking the old and reforming it and do that. So it's like a
Doesn't
recycling.
end up in a landfill.
Well,
No,
actually,
Right.
and that's my favorite word right there is I hate, on some of the property flips that I do, we just can't help it. Some of the stuff that's
up comes
in there.
a dumpster and everything
It has
gets,
to,
yeah.
okay? And I hate that aspect of what I do. That bothers me, but I just unfortunately don't know of any other solution on certain things. And my phrase, and I've used it with my contractors and everything, is precisely what you just said. I said, I don't want that to end up in a landfill somewhere. What can we do with this? Can we reuse this wood? Can we reuse these cabinets? I've taken antique doors from an old home that cannot be used anymore for one reason or another, and I've made them into tables.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did years ago, I did a beautiful dining room table. I took 2 doors from a home that I restored out in Madison. It was one of those big old mansions, 1830s federal colonial.
Wow.
And by renovating the home and redoing the floor plan, we lost 2 doors inside, and they were just too beautiful to get rid of. So I kept them, and I sent them out and had them stripped, so down to the raw wood, and then joined them together with some braces underneath that were hidden, and just flipped them over, put them on a pedestal, a very large pedestal, and created a beautiful, very large dining room table.
Wow.
And it was just a stunning, it was stunning, and it was very different. You know what I mean? When you walked into that room where that table was, it just
very
immediately
unique.
caught
You
your
don't
eye.
ever see
Yeah.
anything of that kind.
Yes.
right?
Maybe we ought to show some. You brought some pictures.
I did.
And
I
we'll
brought some
show
pictures.
them now, and then we'll talk a lot more after this, so that people can get an idea what we're talking about.
Sure.
We'll have the control room put the pictures up for us. Oh, that's beautiful. Green. Oh,
Now, lime
Tell us
green
about
is
that.
the hot color right now. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
Like a
it's
little
everywhere.
punch of color like that.
Yeah.
I do.
This table is in a room that is very neutral and monochromatic. Okay, I decorated this room in shades of very light gray with white trim. All the furniture in the room is white, and the shag rug you can see underneath there is white. So the only color in this room is that table and the few vases, the works of art, the pottery that go on the top of that table.
Now, is that a side table, an eating dining table? What is
That's
it?
just a side table.
A side table, okay. And
All
what,
right,
what was that made from? Go ahead.
What that is,
Yeah.
that is a late 1800s mahogany drop leaf side table.
Ah,
Okay, I bought that on Craigslist for $40. The top of it had some pretty good sized gouges in it, and back then they didn't have polyurethane, so everything was shellacked, and you know what happens with shellac over the years, it cracks.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks very bad. So I actually sanded the top and sanded out the the imperfections, the damage to the wood, because it wasn't that deep, and then lightly sanded the entire piece, stain killed it, and sealed it. All right. If you're going to be doing anything like this, follow the directions on the manufacturer's products that you're using. I sealed it, stain killed it, and sealed it. Then I primed it, and then I used the lime green, which is an enamel paint. Okay, so it'll give you that gloss, which is what you want, and it will also be very durable. The enamel, you can wash it. You can set a drink on it. You don't have to worry about it
good.
staining or anything. So there I have a $40 table, a little bit of elbow grease, maybe $15 worth of paint. I think the stain kill and the primer I had left over from a previous experiment. So that was kicking around, and I just really had to buy the lime green paint, and now you have, it's a
Wow.
very
It's nice.
stunning.
it is.
It gives it. My favorite thing to do decorating is to use to blend old and new. Okay, blend styles. I'm all about the blending,
Yeah.
blending. And this here allows, you give a traditional table a very modern
yeah.
appearance with a pop of color and a little bit of shine.
That's right. All right, let's see the next one. Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
wow. Is that, tell us.
that is a 1920s. Again, mahogany was a very popular wood back then, and we don't use it anymore now. It is endangered, so we don't use it, but it is beautiful. This I got in a consignment shop in Orange, and I think I paid like $130 for that. All the drawers on it worked. It's solid, weighs a ton. You need two people to lift that.
Wow.
It's very, very solid. Again, that was damaged. The drawer fronts were damaged, and the top was damaged. So I sanded out the damage and sealed it with a primer. Okay, you always have to seal the original wood before you do any kind of painting.
That was probably my mistake with the repaints that I've done. I never used a primer. And the paint always got tacky. And
Well, yeah, it won't dry or it won't stick.
okay.
Okay, because your underlayment, whatever's underneath there, you have to seal it. It basically kills whatever's there
Right.
and gives something for the new finish to grab onto.
Okay, that was my mistake.
Well, it looks shiny. Like,
It's silver leaf.
that's why it's like, wow, it really stood out for me.
Now, this took quite a bit of work to do. It took
That's
quite a bit
piece.
of time.
Oh my God.
After I primed it, I used a dark gray base coat paint, okay, and painted the whole thing first. and then I purchased the silver leaf. There's more, the silver leaf cost more than the dresser and the paint and everything combined.
Oh, wow.
There's probably $200 worth of silver leaf on that dresser.
Yeah.
The silver leaf comes in little 6-inch squares. Okay.
I've seen that
I don't know
with
if
the
have you
gold.
seen
Yeah.
it? Yes, yes.
And you gotta like use a little delicate brush to
You
brush it on.
do. You
Yeah.
put it on. You spray it with
It's very
adhesive. You put it
time-consuming.
on. You use a little soft bristle brush, and you tap it, and it does wrinkle a little bit,
Yep.
and it does tear just the tiniest little bit. But that's the beauty of it.
Right.
That's the look that you want.
Yep.
And that's why it was important to choose the base coat, because I
Right.
knew it was going to come through. So I think it took me a week working every single night, a couple hours every night, at night,
To do it.
to get the silver leaf done. And then it gets sealed with like a polyurethane sealer, because otherwise that silver leaf would,
Wear off.
it would wear, the oils from your fingers would stick to it. You'd see the fingerprints, you have to
wow.
seal it.
So that's a big job there.
And then I simply tracked down some knobs. Again, the knobs were actually more expensive, the most expensive thing.
Really?
Those,
That hardware can make such a difference.
Well, it
to
does-
to your cabinets.
it does, it
Just
does.
like that little change.
let's see, there's 2, 4,
see them
6,
that well.
8, 10. There's 12 knobs on that dresser. And I just happened to remember that I spent about $240 on those 12
Wow.
knobs. But, like Traci, like you said, it sets off
Yeah.
the entire piece.
It's priceless. It's beautiful. All right, can we see the next one?
Okay, now this is going into the headboard that we were talking about earlier before the show started.
Yes. Oh, beautiful.
Okay, this is a rehab project, a house that I am rehabbing in Hamden and renovating in Hamden. This was the living room, dining room space in the home. All right, now this is a 1950s home. What you're looking at is cypress paneling, cypress wood paneling. I believe it's original to the house from the 1950s. It's not something that you can leave on the wall today. Okay, I cannot renovate that home and sell
Throw
it.
that wood away.
And I can't sell the home with that wood in it.
Why?
Why?
Look at it. No one will buy that house. No one will buy that house with that wood on the wall. It's completely
it's
outdated.
dated.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
dark.
Well, if you painted it, but you don't want to paint it
Because
because
it's cypress wood.
beautiful.
Well, the
you paint
diff-
it once you
I've painted wood before, paneling, and it comes out nice. The problem with painting cypress is full of holes. It's a beautiful, gorgeous wood, but it is full of holes. That's the way that it grows. So if you painted it, you'd have all of these, black spots throughout where the paint wouldn't take. So anyway, that's the extreme before.
So people look at that as a wall that I wouldn't want in my house, and you look at it as beauty.
I look at it as,
Creativity, yes,
gorgeous.
okay.
I went in that house and I said, I am taking this paneling down. I am so taking this paneling down, and that is coming with me, and I'm doing something with this paneling.
Okay. So next picture.
So there it is, ends up in a pile in my garage.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Next.
the wood, yeah.
Next.
Now, what I did was I decided I was going to be making a headboard. All right,
So you do a pattern,
I had been looking for headboards for this particular bedroom. I couldn't find anything that I liked, that I thought suited the space, that wasn't less than, $4,000. So I said, okay, Richard, you know how to do this. Let's come up with something great. I decided on the design, a little Baroque. Okay, I love
The curves,
Baroque
yeah.
style. The curves are exactly out of Baroque. So I made a template, all right, which is also recycled paper. That paper came in a package, something I ordered from Amazon and was delivered to the house,
Yep.
and it was wrapped up in this brown paper. And I took that paper and I said, I can reuse that too.
You're amazing.
So I folded it in half. You can see in the center there's a crease. So I folded it in half. It goes back to grade school. You know how our teachers taught us to fold things in half and cut them and then open it. And
Yes,
it's
right,
perfectly
exactly,
symmetrical.
that's right.
So that's what I did. I folded it in half. I drew out the curves freehand. Okay. Then I cut it, unfolded it, carried it into the bedroom where the piece was going to go, and I taped it on the wall.
Nice.
So by taping it on the wall, that allows me to see how it's going to look in the space, see if it's the right scale, see if the curves are right, and I can also determine exactly how high I want this headboard to be on the wall. So that's what that picture is.
Wow.
Nice.
This is to show everybody how creativity gets started. And then later we'll talk about what it does for your spirit.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
it does.
Creative process.
Next picture.
And
Starting.
yeah, I just laying out, those are the boards. Now what I did was the photo, the picture that we saw in the house, that's the dark side. All right, I knew that was too dark and I didn't want that color, so I just flipped the wood over. This is the raw side that originally was against the wall in the
Okay,
house.
So the side that we saw, was that stained?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't want that for the headboard.
Right.
So this is the color that I wanted. So here I'm laying out the boards, and you can see the smaller pieces are going towards the top, which is where the curve is going to be.
Okay. Next picture.
Now I've assembled them and secured them on the back, flipped it over, and now I've laid out the template and just taped it in place, and then I'm going to use a scroll saw and follow those curves and cut the actual top section of the headboard.
Okay. Next picture.
Now
Okay.
here's the back of it. Because it's paneling, it needs some rigidity, it needs some strength. So I just, again, used some more of the paneling and just cut it down on the table saw and made it into braces, basically, for the back to give it strength. That's going to be against the wall, and you won't see it, but it will give it strength, and it
Right.
will hold the whole thing together.
Right. Okay. Next picture.
There is just about the completed product from the front.
Right.
Okay, that's what you're going to see in the room. And you can see all the gorgeous lines of
Yeah.
the cypress wood.
Beautiful. Natural.
The patina, that's 50-year-old wood. You don't get that patina from new wood that's aged.
Right.
And I think it's absolutely beautiful.
It is. Next.
Now I decided to give it a little detail. So again, these are the pieces that came off when I cut the curves, okay? I flipped them over and attached them with screws from the back where it's going to be hidden, some screws and wood glue. And now I will follow it with the scroll saw again, and it will create like a 1-inch trim piece
Okay, yeah.
outlining the top to give it a little depth.
Nice.
All right. Next picture.
And
Oh,
there's the
wow.
finished
Oh, is that
product
beautiful?
on the wall.
You can see that.
Oh,
Trim.
look
It's
at that.
gorgeous.
I love that trim on the end. That makes it,
It,
the whole
it
thing.
gives it a little depth,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
At least it has a look of like cork, you know. I like the
It's
shade
honestly
and
the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah,
in person,
probably
it's
not.
just absolutely stunning. It sets the entire room off.
That's what I'm in love with, that headboard. That's beautiful. Just beautiful. There's nothing like natural.
Make me an offer.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
there's more pictures right next. Wow.
Now, this is the before. Don't say wow. This
that's
is
the before?
This is the before.
Okay.
This is just a simple repurposing of a kitchen table, a dining area and a kitchen. I was for a client. We're starting the process of renovating the kitchen, changing everything over. They want to keep a round table, and they like the size of that, but they don't like the color. And I went shopping, trying to find something to replace it, and the only thing that came close was a table that was about $2,400. A very nice table, and it had a different color to it. It was more on the gray end, which is the color direction that we're heading with the kitchen. All right. I thought, why do we need to spend $2,400? Okay, when this table, this is an oak reproduction pedestal table. All right, it's not an original, it is a reproduction, but it's solid oak, and oak is extremely heavy, extremely
Right.
durable. So this is the before. I decided I was going to change the color
Okay.
and bring it up to speed for the direction that we're going to head with this kitchen.
Okay. Next picture.
That is the stripper.
All right.
I am also a stripper. I don't know.
You
maybe,
are?
Maybe you didn't know that.
No, I
but
didn't know that.
I am also a
Did you put
stripper.
that on your resume?
Yeah, where's that stripper?
And there I am. That's the stripping.
Okay.
So we're going to take the old finish off of that table and get down to the bare wood.
Alrighty. Next picture.
There's the top completely stripped. You can
Wow.
see it's a little different color, right? It looks a
Yeah,
little
it's
different
lighter.
because the polyurethane has been stripped off, and
Oh, see, it's open,
now we're
yeah.
down to the raw wood.
Okay. Next.
Now I bought 2 samples, one of the greatest inventions of all time.
Oh, when you get the little,
The
we
little
love those.
sample cans that you can buy now.
Oh.
Instead of having to buy a whole gallon of
Yes,
paint.
it's brilliant. Whoever came up with that idea should be running the world. So I bought, this is actually exterior stain. It's exterior deck stain, what you could use on
Deck
your
stain,
fence
wow.
or your outside of your house, all right? You may not think to use it on the inside, all right, but wood is wood,
Yeah, and
no matter
especially
where
for a
it is.
table, I imagine.
So on
very,
the left is white, it's a white stain, and on the right is a very light gray stain, which is the stain that we ended up using. What I did here is I flipped the table over. All right, this is the underside of the
Underneath, yeah.
table, and I put it on because I wanted to see how it would take, because oak has a very heavy grain. All right, so and it's very golden. Oak is very golden to begin with.
That's going to come through.
So I wasn't quite sure how it would react. So here's a tip. All right, if you're redoing something, do it in an inconspicuous spot. Try a little sample
Yeah.
and see how it comes out. In this here, I decided the white was too light blue. Okay, it almost turned light blue
Yeah.
with the gold. And the gray came out perfectly the way I wanted. So I went ahead with the gray.
Okay. Next.
Next picture.
So just brush it on. On this particular table, I just brushed it on.
Okay. Next.
Oh, wow. I like the look of that.
Alrighty.
Now that's, you can see the huge difference with the color.
I like
Next.
the way the wood comes through.
Yeah, you still get a little bit of the brown, the golden from the oak coming through the gray.
Yeah, you do. Next picture.
Now what I did is I brushed it on and then I wiped it off immediately with a rag.
Okay. Why?
Because I wanted the color very subtle.
Ah.
I didn't want any brush strokes, and I wanted it very subtle. So what I did is I brush it on a section at a time, and then wipe it off with the rag. I did that twice. Okay, did it once, let the whole table dry, and then gave it a second coat, and again, brush it and wiped it. The tabletop, for some reason, even though it was the same wood, it absorbed the stain a little differently. So I actually did 3 coats on the tabletop. And the third coat, I didn't brush at all. I used the rag, which at that point was completely saturated with the stain that I had wiped off, and I just gave the whole tabletop a wipe with that saturated
These
rag.
ideas just come to you when you're doing it?
Yeah, just as I'm
Wow.
doing it.
Amazing.
I'm watching what I'm doing and seeing how it
reacts. right.
reacts, yeah, and then just going from there.
All right. Next picture.
2 coats of poly.
I love it.
That's the finished product.
Wow.
Love
It's
it.
got beautiful. It's the color of driftwood.
Yes,
That's
it is.
exactly what it is. Polyurethane seals it, so you can use it in the kitchen. You could put down, anything on it, wipe it right off. It's very durable.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then the last picture, I believe, is back.
Next picture.
Yep, back in the kitchen.
Oh, this is the last one he's got, he says.
Oh, this is the last picture.
Missing. Maybe missing.
I guess we're missing that
Oh,
one.
okay. I thought there was one more with it back in the kitchen
Oh, still
in
how
the
it looks.
exact same spot
Yeah,
as when we started.
Okay, thank you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, how do you think design plays a part in our happiness and well-being?
Well, you spend a lot of time in your home. You spend a lot of time in your office or your place of work. All right. You react to your surroundings. I've always believed that your surroundings kind of almost set your mood, right? They'll make you or break you.
That's
So
very true.
Yes, it does.
design, for me, the way that I design, I like to feel the energy that's in a space, feel the energy that's in the room, because, you know, rooms and houses are like people,
Yes,
right?
There's energy there.
They give off energy.
That's right.
And they absorb it too. People
well,
don't realize
Yeah.
that. You know, the tears, the fights, the laughter, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The walls, it's in your walls, it's in your furniture.
I go into a lot of homes on the houses that I buy that are flips,
Yep.
and they're always distressed properties, so they have histories, and sometimes you can go in and you can feel.
You feel it, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it inspires me to get rid of
The negativity and everything, yeah.
that negativity, that negative energy, and get that house geared up for a new family to come.
And what's
and live in
interesting,
there.
because I'm going through this process right now, is you can do that, like you said, without getting rid of the table, and you could just repurpose it, redesign it, repaint it. And I think just that process of giving it that love and attention and a new direction will
It's
totally
life.
change it.
It's life. It's
it
alive.
does.
I mean, it comes from wood, it comes from trees, comes from nature, God's
Yeah.
work,
Yep.
and it's alive. And I think that,
And rather than just saying, oh, this is part of the old and get rid of
Yeah.
it, you can give it that love and transform it.
A lot of people aren't as in tune to these things as you are. All right. So another challenge that I face as a real estate developer or as an interior designer is to make them feel that. Whether they know they're feeling it, whether they're conscious, they'll just walk into the space and they'll be like, oh, I love this. This feels so warm, this is so inviting, that.
same place that
It's-
had all that negativity,
Yes,
right?
you don't have to slap someone in the face with it, right?
Yeah.
But you want it to come across. And I love when I do that. I like to do it subtly like that. But when someone comes into one of my properties or a design site, a job site, and they have that reaction, it gives me a lot of, a very good feeling. I
And
feel
that's why
very
we
good.
have you on the show.
Yes.
To show people how, when you have heart like that and you have spirit like that and you have beliefs and realize everything has energy, what it does for you, and it must make you feel so wonderful.
It makes me feel very satisfied.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying. I think something else that we should talk about, another kind of a buzzword for the past, 10 years maybe, has been feng shui.
Yep.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
feng shui is
We've
big.
had people on our show who've discussed that. Yep.
Now, I don't know. I've never studied formally the principles of feng shui, but for some reason, it's just something that I've always instinctively known, and it ties right into health and wellness,
Right.
obviously. And the principles of feng shui are furniture placement. Okay,
Right.
and your light sources and your energy sources, and those things will affect how you react to the space and how you will feel when you are in the space.
Right.
All right. The easiest thing that we could tell our viewers is your furniture should not impede your entrance into the room.
Right.
Okay. You do not want to walk into the room and see the back of something. All right. That's just bad feng shui. You don't want to walk into the side of something that's impeding the flow of your energy when you go into that room. That's just bad principles, bad feng shui.
A lot of people do that with couches. They'll put the back right out into the middle, in the middle of the floor. Now that was a style. A lot of people did that.
That's fine if you have sufficient
Big
room
space around it. Yep.
to
Yeah.
go around it.
Yeah, no, I didn't see, in the picture I'm thinking of wasn't.
You can definitely. I love to float furniture in a room. I'm all about floating furniture. That's before that was even popular back in the 80s. That was my favorite thing. I hated furniture pushed up against
Yeah,
the
all
walls.
squared off.
Yeah, I like it out away from the walls. And if the room is big enough, by all means, float the couch in the center. It looks stunning and it's beautiful. But okay, you want to make sure you have enough room.
Yeah, you don't walk
to-
right in the door, and there it is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, right.
You don't want that barricade that doesn't say welcome, that says, keep out.
Stay away.
Yeah.
Go away. Don't come in here. And that's not, well, maybe it is. I don't know. It
Maybe that's what they want.
depends
Yeah.
on who's coming to your house.
Yeah, right? Quick, let's move the couch.
Aunt Hilda's coming. Quick, move the couch.
Change all the pictures on the walls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so that's kind of what you do.
Instinctively, yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow I've always known that. It's just, maybe I was meant to be a designer and a decorator.
And
I
the
don't know.
whole idea of staging, I mean, I know that's becoming very popular in, home sales. It's like, come in and just change the whole look of the room, and
I started staging
love that.
2.5 years ago. I started staging homes with fantastic results. And again, that's promoting the energy of the home.
Right.
It's showing people how the rooms can be used. It's making sure everything is scale appropriate for that room, okay, which is another thing with feng shui. You don't want to have your couch cannot be overly humongous.
That's what
your
someone said to
bedroom.
me one time. I'm like, well, how's that house that he was visiting somebody? It's like, well, it was like putting 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. He said it was like
It is
suffocating.
Yeah, some people like big furniture,
want
and
everything in
then
that
they get it
room,
home,
and
and
it's
it's
too
just like,
much.
ugh,
Yeah.
it just feels wrong, and you feel cramped, and how are you going to be relaxing in this space, or your bedroom has too many dressers. The bed is too big. The room can't handle all this furniture, and then you wonder why you don't sleep well, or you're unhappy, or you wake up cranky in the morning. Well, maybe it's your bedroom.
It
Yeah.
doesn't have flow to it. Yeah.
Your bedroom is giving you negative energies. It's a bad space to
What's
be.
it saying? Move.
Yes. I don't know what it's saying, but it ain't good.
I remember years and years ago, Sears had this Paul Bunyan furniture. Yeah, and it was like
Little small stuff.
no big poles like on the bed. Take the bed, the big
Oh.
poles on the beds,
Yes.
4-poster with a big headboard, something like the one you designed, and a footboard, and solid. We had enough room in the bedroom for it, and the dressers were that heavy. I don't know my woods that well, but it was heavy and on the darker side, But I used to feel like it was hugging me. I loved it so much. And then the living room too. It was a mixture of the wood with also being with the material. And of course, I chose the country look,
Right.
because I love all the wood and all
Yeah.
that. Oh, it's beautiful. I loved that furniture so much. I really, really did. I hated when I had to sell the house and part with it because it doesn't go in every house. It's big.
True.
It's big.
True.
So if they want big furniture, they need to have
The space.
the space to.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Your furniture has to be scale appropriate for the room that it's going in. Definitely.
Do you have any stories to tell us about people who kind of said help and things like that with you? With stuff that
Well,
some of your sales, anything.
Actually, I did last summer. I got a listing on a house that in West Haven, and the sellers really wanted to move. They wanted to get on with their lives and get out of that house and go on to the next one. Their family was growing. It was too big for the house. They'd been through 2 other real estate agents who could not sell the house. I came in and I said, we have a little bit of work to do here. I asked them, I said, how much work do you want to do? And luckily they said, whatever you tell us.
takes,
Yeah, that's
whatever it
good when you
takes,
have
whatever.
somebody willing to work like that.
And I made them buy a new living room set. Okay, they went and they bought a new couch and a very small love seat, inexpensive, okay, and a nice light neutral color. and they moved the other one, which was too big. I mean, this was this humongous leather sectional. It was just ginormous. It was just so big. Put that down in the basement, okay, so it made the basement feel usable. The kitchen, the table that they had in the kitchen was way too big, way too heavy. It was dark. We moved that into a back bedroom and replaced the flat, the bedroom light with a chandelier. So we staged this fourth bedroom as kind of like a formal dining room, which the house didn't have. And then I sent them on a little shopping spree, and they got a small, size-appropriate table for the kitchen with a glass top. Okay.
Give it more space.
Now the glass top allows you to see through it, so it visually doesn't take up as much room, and the surface is shiny, and it was right in front of a window. So the light coming in was now reflected, bounced into the room. On certain days, you could actually see the clouds in the sky reflected into the glass
that
on
must
the
have
table.
looked beautiful.
It was perfect. They got in the spirit when they were shopping for the living room furniture, and they bought another rug for the living room and changed the curtains. They actually went the extra mile. And the upstairs bathroom needed to be repainted, and I told them to repaint it, and they did. And we sold that house in about 3 weeks.
Wow.
Wow.
Sold that house in about 3 weeks after they've gone through
That's exciting.
2 other agents over a year on the market. So the principles of staging.
And it's funny because people come in and it's the energy they feel, and it may not have anything to do with the structure of the house itself.
Yeah, you're right.
and that was the same house.
Right, we changed nothing.
beforehand, and
We
it
changed
was
nothing.
furniture and paint and.
Yeah, the kitchen was the same, the roof was the same, the hardwood floors were the same. We
Right.
didn't do anything. We spent $1,000 maybe in furniture, which they were going to reuse. They're going to use it in their new home
Okay, good.
because their new home was a lot bigger. They were going to use that furniture anyway, and it helped them sell this one.
Nice.
Well, that brings to mind a house that we sold, and the people that came in, we also knew that when the people come into a house, they see all the furniture and everything, and they picture that's what they want for themselves. So
Oh.
they like everything. So when the real estate agent came to us, their real estate, he said that people wanted to buy the house with everything in it, just the way it was, all the furniture, everything, just leave it exactly the way it was. No, I can't give up my furniture. That's what they really wanted. They want and that's what you just told me.
Well, that happens with my flip properties because I stage all of those now as a matter, just a routine now. Every single one gets staged. And literally just about everyone that comes in the door, asks, is the furniture included? Can we buy it with the furniture? I'm like, no, I gotta reuse this.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Everything
Yeah.
in life is negotiable.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So that just goes to tell you the spirituality that's involved
Absolutely.
in the work that you do.
I've always believed that.
Yeah, and in the energy that's in a home, and when it's decorated, how it's decorated. I mean, you can find that beautiful energy in everything if you just look for it.
Rather than just throwing things away. Yeah.
It sounds like you were born with it. Because
I
at
think.
21, yeah.
Well, actually, it goes back even earlier
Even
than that.
earlier, what?
Yes.
Tell us.
Well, I was that 6-year-old kid.
6 years old, Richard.
I was that 6-year-old kid who rearranged my bedroom once a week because I didn't like the layout, or I wanted to try the bed over here. Oh, I must have drove my
drove
poor
your parents
crazy.
Yeah.
New color on the wall.
And I would be after my mother too. We should change the living room. We should move the couch. We should try this. And
Did she?
No.
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 Oh, I would have.
I wish my daughter. I have
You were my son.
my oldest daughter. I remember we went to sell an area rug at a yard sale, and she sat on it and cried. She hated change. She doesn't want to get. She just something new. Just adjusting to it. So.
And I designed and built my first piece of furniture. I think I must have been 12.
Really?
Yes, I had the furniture that my parents bought for me. Originally, I had shared a bedroom with my oldest brother. It was a big bedroom, and we kind of had it divided down the middle. We each had our sides.
Oh, okay.
So my parents bought me a bedroom set that matched his. Okay, and of course, I'm thankful I had furniture. Not every kid has furniture, and I had a nice set of furniture, but it, wasn't me.
Your style.
Wasn't me. So I finally convinced my parents to let me, move all that into the attic, all right, and design and build a wall unit in my bedroom, which encompassed all of the furniture that I got rid of. So it became my dresser, my bookcase, and my desk. All right, and I designed this entire wall unit. The desk part folded down.
Wow.
And then inside were electrical plugs for the light and, all
Thought
my
of everything.
pens and everything. And then I could just close it up and hide the mess. And down below, there were more hidden cabinets for all of my clothes. I had my records and my stereo and the speakers hidden in this wall unit, the whole thing. I designed it. My father took me down to the lumber store, and we got all the wood and came home, and it was kind of a, father-son project.
Oh,
And he
nice.
helped
He
me cut
supported that.
everything.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yes.
Supporting you like that.
And the wall unit came out fantastic.
Wow. That's great.
So that was 12 years old.
Wow, wow. Well, see, I truly believe when you have that feeling and that talent, you bring it from your past lives,
Well, that's that's what I wonder.
Yeah.
I was clearly some sort of
When you have
an
that gift
artist
early
or
on, and
something.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet in Egyptian times you helped design all the tombs and all the things that were going on over
Maybe.
there. Yeah.
Well,
She
you
had
know
a
what the
lifetime in
funniest
that.
thing is?
Feels like it.
When I
with
was
you.
in elementary school, I had this really unbelievable draw towards ancient Greek architecture.
Mm-hmm.
The indoor swimming pools, the atriums, the columns.
Beautiful.
I had this I don't know where it came from. I was so attracted to that style. It was just,
Yeah, I could feel that about you, Yeah,
Must have
something
been
like
a
that.
past life connection at that age.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
knows?
I remember myself going through 3 stages after I had gotten married, and had a house and was thinking about design, and we changed the, the design 3 times. First, I was into my Oriental. I loved everything Oriental. Oh my God, Oriental. Then we didn't do that, and then I was into Spanish style.
Okay, yeah.
We had the lamps with the bulbs that were sticking in the big heavy furniture, the big heavy lamps
Oh,
with
yes,
the candles,
yes.
and all that dark wood, and
Dark,
stuff
yeah.
like that. That I was into that so much, And then my third one was country, which really wasn't a style back then, but the other 2 were, very attracted to me. You're right. It's just something that I got to have everything for this design. So I figured I was Chinese in a life, or I was Spanish.
And you were a country girl.
And I'm a country girl.
Maybe you were a country western singer. Can you sing, Rose?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
See? No, I'm not going into a chorus. Don't worry, folks. I'm not going to sing. So that's. So, what kind of tips would you give people who try and design their own homes and things?
I think the best tip to give anyone would be don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Yeah, I think people do that mostly with these big pieces of furniture. It's like, oh my goodness, how am I going to tackle? That's a big project to strip it down.
Well, let's start small.
Okay.
Start with paint. Do a little painting in your house, and don't be afraid
painting.
to try color.
Color.
Okay, because honestly, the worst thing that can happen is it comes out and it looks bad, and you paint over it. Okay, and it costs you $20 for a gallon of paint.
Yeah.
You waste $20 going to see a bad movie.
You're right.
So
I know, and paint can.
you
I
can
love paint.
buy some
Change
paint.
the whole look of a house.
And don't
So
be afraid to
inexpensive.
try something new. Don't be afraid to be creative. Don't be afraid. Just basically don't be afraid. I think that would be the biggest tip. Anything you want to do, if you believe you can do it, you can do it. And if it doesn't come out good, well, try again.
Yeah.
Go on, do something else.
I noticed in these paint commercials, they're using these dark colors, the reds and the dark greens
Yeah.
and everything on the walls, It's very nice. Years ago, you couldn't do that.
No.
I don't mind bold and dark colors, but for instance, I'm moving into this house and it's in the woods. It's very shaded, and I'm like, okay, let's get some lighter colors because I need that light in the house.
Well, you know what? You know how they say people have people have a color. You know, you should wear certain colors and you
Right.
shouldn't wear certain colors because of the coloring of your skin.
Right.
Right, you know, whether you have a pink tone or an olive tone or whatever the coloring of your skin. So people have colors. Remember that book, you know, back, was it 20 years ago when people had their colors done?
Oh yeah, where
Do you
you're
remember?
summer.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
summer,
yes,
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 exactly,
yes,
summer,
yes,
winter.
yes.
You know, I believe houses are
the
the
same.
exact same way.
Ah, yes.
Okay, and case in point, the first house that I designed and had built, it was in 1987, and it was built, and the carpet came, and we painted the inside and had the carpet there, and this house was out in the woods, but it had a lot of glass all around it, lots of glass and lots of light. But outside, all you saw were trees, you know, leaves.
Right.
It was very, very woodsy. And we got painted and got the carpet down, and I said, oh my goodness, this is all wrong. You know, this is the wrong color for this house.
Yep.
And I think that was the first time that it opened my eyes that I would say that houses have, you know, colors or
Yeah.
seasons or
Yep,
whatever.
houses, yep,
And
personalities.
I sold the carpet. It was still in the roll. Got rid of the carpet and got new carpet, painted the whole house all over completely, and then it made sense, and then it felt right. You know, you were in there surrounded by all that glass, all the woods, and it was right. The original color was just all wrong. So
Yeah.
for you, try, you know,
Well, there's a lot of dark wood, you know, and then the shade on top of it. So I feel like the contrast with a lighter color on the walls is.
yeah, you got to bring something in to lighten it
Yep.
up, definitely. And don't be afraid to paint some of that wood out.
I know, tempted.
Really?
Not all of
It's
it.
beautiful.
Not all of it. Actually, you know what you'll find? If you paint some of that out, it'll make the wood that's left more important, more pronounced,
Oh, okay.
and even more center stage. So you won't walk in and be like, oh, wow, you know, this is all this wood. You'll walk in and you'll see the few things that you want to be seen, and, you know,
Right.
they'll really stand out. So don't be afraid to paint out some of that wood.
Even when we lightened up the color in the living room, like now the fireplace just like pops, you know? It's just
Yeah.
so nice. You
Yep.
could really see the coloring in the fire.
And don't be afraid to paint the brick on a outside of a fireplace.
Yep.
If you have a 1960s
Really?
or
The
a
brick?
1950s house,
Yep.
it's
it
going to
looks
seem outdated. They actually make a concrete stain in all different colors that you can spray on. You can stain that brick any color from white all the way through,
Right.
and that gives it a modern feel. You can paint it out completely with a paint with just a little bit of a shine to it, and it'll give it a whole new look and modernize it while keeping the traditional feel. So don't be afraid to paint out brick. Don't be afraid to
Yeah,
paint
I
out
like
some
the
wood.
way this looks, so I'll keep it for now. I'm
Sounds
not afraid
good.
to paint. I love paint.
We have about
We'll have a little painting
A
party.
few minutes.
yeah,
so
we got about 4 minutes left. So, what last words would you like to leave with our audience?
I think
I
just
mean, you're about, like I told you, all those different things. You're telling people
I'm about it all.
Yeah, what to do, how to do with the feeling the energy in the homes, yeah, and the houses and the personalities and everything else, and how you feel and how you recycle and good for the environment. So what you do is just fantastic. So
Thank you.
yeah, we really believe that. So
Thank you.
tell our last 4 minutes here what you might want to leave them with.
I would say, again, don't be afraid to try something new. All right. Worst case, if it's bad, just redo it. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
Trust your instincts. Okay. Trust your gut and trust your instincts. Quite often, your first impression is the right one. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
It is the gut feeling that people don't listen to.
Yeah. You have to listen to yourself. Your intuition will kick in, and you'll know sometimes before you even do it. You know what I mean? If you're really in tune with your body and you're in tune with everything, and then practice feng shui again is an instinctive thing. Feel the energy that's in your room. If you're rearranging your furniture, you're changing your colors. Don't be afraid to mix and match styles. Don't be afraid of color.
Really? Mix and match styles.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. You can bring in, if it's something you like, that's
Make it
really
work,
all
yeah.
that it takes. Don't think that you have to stick to one particular style. You can't mix a Biedermeier antique into a mid-century modern home. Don't think you can't put a Baroque chandelier in a, inner city, a city loft, industrial loft. Don't be afraid to.
You can do all that, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do. Mix and match.
Mix and match.
Mix it up.
Yeah.
It gives the room dimension, definitely.
Character.
Sometimes
Well,
things
that's what it
too-
does. It brings out
they
the
look-
character of
yeah.
the occupant, right? You want someone to walk into.
Personality, right.
You want someone to walk into that space and know that it's you.
Right.
I think that's the biggest compliment you can get on a space. If someone walks in and says, I feel you in this room, or I see you in this room, or this room is you.
Right.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah, that is a nice thing to say. So you're just sitting there and kind of feel, kind of just like go within and kind of feel what you'd like in your house, what makes it
Absolutely.
warm for you, and
Absolutely.
and like you said, don't be afraid. And you can buy it and you can return it, or you
That's
can
true.
buy it and sell it, right?
I buy stuff and take it back if it doesn't look good. Sure, definitely.
Right.
How about when they're buying a house? Do you have any advice for that? When they're going to, I know.
Buying a house is an experience. Okay, it is an experience.
Yep.
It's not just something you do. It is a progress.
Yeah.
You always want to have your
Have a
lists.
vision.
You want to have your lists of must-haves, your list of deal breakers, and then everything else falls in between.
Yeah.
You're never going to get everything that you want.
Right.
I don't care if you're spending $100,000 or if you're spending $1 million. You are never going to get everything that you want.
Right.
So make your list, your must-haves, your deal breakers, and then everything in between.
All very good advice. So
Yeah.
I'm going to give our audience your information.
Yeah, your contact information to contact this wonderful creator here.
Contact Richard Morse. You can email him at richardmorserealestate@yahoo.com or find him on Facebook at Richard Morse Designs. Or you can reach him on his phone at 203-435-4215.
Go
For
ahead.
information about this show or any of our past shows, and to find out when our shows will be playing in your area, or if you have any questions, please email us at healoutsidethebox@yahoo.com. Call Rosemary at 203-627-7966 or Traci at 203-232-3405. You can also visit Rosemary's website, www.rosemarylachance.com, for show schedules and of our past shows. And if you have, please do check us out on Facebook if you have any questions or would like to join in the discussion that we have there, Healing Outside the Box.
And in our Facebook page, you'll also find photographs of all past guests and everything, which you will be added to the list.
Excellent.
And the show numbers and so forth, so people that are interested, and also on my website. So the quote for tonight is, "Do not be too timid and squeamish about your actions. All of life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. What if they are a little coarse, and you may get your coat soiled or torn? What if you do fail and get fairly rolled in the dirt once or twice? Up again. You shall never be so afraid of a tumble." And that's from Ralph Waldo Emerson from the Book of Courage. Thank
Good
you
words.
so much.
Thank you, Rosemary, so much. Tracy,
so
thank you so
interesting,
much.
and so beautiful.
I've had a great time here.
Okay. Say good night. See you next time. Night, night.
As you look out through the window to the world you have made, always know